3. From Pyotr Ivanovich to Ivan Petrovich. My precious friend, Ivan Petrovich, I am to blame, 1,000 times to blame, but I hasten to defend myself. Between 5 and 6 yesterday, just as we were talking of you with the warmest of affection, a message from Uncle Stefan Alyich galloped up with the news from a messenger. Between 5 and 6 yesterday, just as we were talking of you with the warmest affection, a messenger from Uncle Stefan Alyich galloped up with the news that my aunt was very bad. Being afraid of alarming my wife, I did not say a word of this to her, but on the pretext of other urgent business, I drove off to my aunt's house. I found her almost dying. Just at 5 o'clock she had had a stroke, the third she has had in the last 2 years. Karl Fyodorovitch, their family doctor, told us that she might not live through the night. You can judge by my position, dearest friend. We were on our legs all night in grief and anxiety. It was not till morning that, utterly exhausted and overcome by moral and physical weakness, I lay down on the sofa. I forgot to tell them to wake me, and was only woken at 11:30. My aunt was better. I drove home to my wife. She, poor thing, was quite worn out expecting me. I snatched a bite of something, embraced my little boy, reassured my wife, and set off to call on you. You were not at home. At your flat I found Yevgeny Nikolaevich. When I got home I took up a pen, and here I am writing to you. Don't grumble and be cross to me, my true friend. Beat me, chop my guilty head off my shoulders, but don't deprive me of your affection. From your wife I learned that you will be at the Slavyanovs this evening. I will certainly be there. I look forward with the greatest impatience to seeing you. I remain, etc. P.S. We are in perfect despair about our little boy, Karl Fyodorovitch prescribes our we are P.S. We are in perfect despair about our little boy. Karl Fyodorovitch prescribes rhubarb. He moans. Yesterday he did not know anyone. This morning he did know us, and began lisping, Papa, Mama, Boo. My wife was in tears the whole morning. 4. From Ivan Petrovich to Pyotr Ivanovich. My dear Sir Pyotr Ivanovich, I am writing to you in your room, at your bureau, and before taking up my pen, I have been waiting for more than 2.5 hours for you. Now, allow me to tell you straight out, Pyotr Ivanovich, my frank opinion about this shabby incident. From your last letter, I gathered you were expected at the Yanovs, and that you were inviting me to go there. I turned up. I stayed for 5 hours, and there was no sign of you. Why am I to be made a laughing-stock to people, do you suppose? Excuse me, my dear sir. I came to you this morning. I hope to find you, not imitating certain deceitful persons who look for people, God knows where, when they can be found at home at any suitable chosen time. There is no sign of you at home. I don't know what restrains me from telling you now the whole harsh truth. I will only say that I see you seem to be going back on your bargain regarding our agreement. And only now, reflecting on the whole affair, I cannot but confess that I am absolutely astounded at the artful workings of your mind. I see clearly now that you have been cherishing your unfriendly design for a long time. This supposition of mine is confirmed by the fact that last week, in an almost unpardonable way, you took possession of that letter of yours addressed to me, in which you laid down yourself, though rather vaguely and incoherently, the terms of our agreement in regards to a circumstance of which I need not remind you. You are afraid of documents, you destroy them, and you try to make a fool of me, but I won't allow myself to be made a fool of, for no one has ever considered me one hitherto, and everyone has thought well of me in that respect. I am opening my eyes. You try and put me off, confuse me with talk of Yevgeny Nikolaevich, and when, with your letter of the 7th of this month, which I am still at a loss to understand, I seek a personal explanation from you. You make humbugging appointments while you keep out of the way. Surely you did not suppose, sir, that I am not equal to noticing all this? You promised to reward me for my services, of which you were very well aware, in the way of introducing various persons, and at the same time, I don't know how you do it. You contrive to borrow money from me in considerable sums without giving me a receipt, as happened no longer than the last week. Now, having got the money, you keep out of the way, and what's more, you repudiate the service I have done you in regards to Evgeny Nikolaich. You are probably reckoning on my speedy departure to Simbirsk, and I'm hoping I may not have time, and hoping I may not have time to settle your business. But I assure you solemnly, and testify on my word of honor, that if it comes to that, I am prepared to spend 2 more months in Petersburg expressly to carry through my business, to attain my objects, and to get hold of you. For I, too, on occasion, know how to get the better of people. In conclusion, I beg to inform you that if you do not give me satisfactory explanations today, first in writing, and then personally face to face, and you do not make fresh statements in your letter of the chief points of agreement existing between us, and do not explain fully your views in regard to Evgeny Nikolaich, I shall be compelled to have recourse to measures that will be highly unpleasant to you, and indeed repugnant to me also. Also allow me to remain, etc. 5. From Pyotr Ivanovitch to Ivan Petrovitch. November 11th. My dear and honored friend, Ivan Petrovitch, I was cut to the heart by your letter. I wonder you were not ashamed, my dear but unjust friend, to behave like this towards one of your most devoted friends. Why be in such a hurry, and without explaining things fully, wound me with such insulting suspicions? But I hasten to reply to your charges. You did not find me yesterday, Ivan Petrovitch, because I was suddenly and quite unexpectedly called away to a deathbed. My aunt, Evgeny Nikolaevna, passed away yesterday evening at 11 o'clock in the night. By the general consent of the relatives, I was selected to make the arrangements for the sad and sorrowful ceremony. I had so much to do that I had not the time to see you this morning, nor even to send you a line. I am grieved to the heart at the misunderstanding which has arisen between us. My words about Evgeny Nikolaich, utterly casual and in jest, you have taken in quite a wrong sense, and have ascribed to them a meaning deeply offensive to me. You refer to money and express your anxiety about it, but without wasting words, I am ready to satisfy all your claims and demands, though I must remind you that the 350 rubles I had from you last week were in accordance with a certain agreement, and not by way of a loan. In the latter case, there would certainly have been a receipt. I will not condescend to discuss the other points mentioned in your letter. I see that it is a misunderstanding. I see it is your habitual hastiness, hot temper, and obstinacy. I know that your good-heartedness and open character will not allow doubts to persist in your heart, and that you will be, in fact, the first to hold out your hands to me. You are mistaken, Ivan Petrovitch. You are greatly mistaken. Although your letter has deeply wounded me, I should be prepared, even today, to come to you and apologize, but I have been since yesterday in such a rush and flurry that I am utterly exhausted and can scarcely stand on my feet. To complete my troubles, my wife is laid up. I am afraid she is seriously ill. Our little boy, thank God, is better, but I must lay down my pen. I have a mass of things to do, and they are urgent. Allow me, my dear friend, to remain, etc.